Oh, my dears, gather round here on Dear Grandma. Let me tell you about a good man, a kind soul named John. 71 years young, a retired teacher, seemed as healthy as could be. Walked his little dog every morning, always had a smile and a joke. One cold December night, he enjoyed his supper, a plate of lovely lasagna, I believe, had a glass of water, and went to his warm bed, just like any other night. But when morning came, his dear wife found him still. No response to her gentle touch. John was gone. No warning, no fuss, just the quiet stillness of a heart that had stopped in the night. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Someone so seemingly well. What could have happened? Could something we do every evening, without a second thought, be more important than we realize? Welcome to Dear Grandma. Today we're going to gently explore 4 surprisingly common things we do in the evening, little routines that might seem harmless, but could actually be quietly affecting our health as we get a little older. Doctors have been looking into this, and they say our nighttime habits can sometimes be a hidden trap. So please, stay with me for a little while. We'll talk about these 4 sneaky habits and, more importantly, share some simple ways to make our evenings safer and help us wake up feeling stronger and ready for each new day. Let's have a little chat about it, shall we? Habit number 1, enjoying a heavy meal too close to bedtime. Now, let me tell you about my dear friend Margaret, a lively woman, 73 years young, with a real passion for her cooking. Every evening, as the day began to settle down, she'd start preparing her famous spaghetti carbonara. You know, the one with the rich, creamy sauce, crispy bacon, and a generous serving of pasta. The aroma would fill her cozy little house, and she'd sit down around 9 o'clock to a big plate, savoring every single bite. It was her little ritual, a peaceful moment in her otherwise busy day. By 10, she'd be tucked into bed, ready to drift off to sleep with a very full tummy. But one night, things took a worrying turn. Margaret woke up in the dead of night, gasping for air. Her chest felt like it was on fire, and her heart was doing a little drum solo in her ears. At first, she thought it was just those little aches and pains we sometimes get as we age, so she tried to wave it away. But this was different. The discomfort in her chest was a signal, her body trying to tell her something she couldn't ignore. She struggled to catch her breath, and the pain just kept getting worse. Come morning, her worried family rushed her to the hospital, where the doctors discovered she'd suffered from terrible acid reflux that had led to pneumonia. You see, that lovely rich meal hadn't had enough time to digest properly before she went to bed. The stomach acid traveled up her throat and into her lungs, causing a dangerous infection. That kind doctor, Dr. Brandon Peters, he put it so clearly: eating late after 70 isn't just a little mistake. It can really upset our health. When we're younger, our bodies are like busy little engines, processing food quickly. But as we get older, things slow down a bit. Our stomach muscles aren't quite as strong, and those helpful digestive juices become a little less potent, making it harder to break down big meals. For Margaret, that delicious carbonara didn't just sit in her stomach. It stayed there. And as her body tried to rest, it produced acid that went the wrong way, up into her throat, creating a real risk to her health. Now, Margaret's story isn't all that uncommon. Many of us enjoy a good supper in the evening, but we might not realize the little bit of trouble it can cause our bodies if it's too late. When you eat a big meal, especially those lovely rich or spicy foods, your tummy has to work extra hard to keep up. This slow digestion keeps your body active when it should be winding down for the night, which can increase the chances of things like heartburn, that nasty acid reflux, and even that aspiration pneumonia Margaret had. So, what's the gentle fix? It's simpler than you might think. Try to eat your dinner a little earlier. Aim to finish your main meal by around 6 or 7 in the evening, so your body has a good few hours to digest before bedtime. Choose lighter, easier to digest foods, like maybe some grilled fish with vegetables, or a small portion of healthy grains. Let's try to avoid those heavy, fatty foods that take longer for our tummies to process. Eating earlier also gives our bodies a chance to really focus on resting and repairing while we sleep, which helps us get a much better night's rest. Margaret made the change, you know. She started having her supper earlier, swapped her beloved pasta for some grilled chicken and colorful vegetables, and within just a week, she felt a real difference. Her sleep improved, that nasty acid reflux went away, and she started waking up feeling refreshed instead of all congested. By making those small adjustments, Margaret was able to look after her health and keep her golden years full of that lovely vitality. Habit number 2, having too much liquid before we tuck ourselves in. Now, let's talk about my dear friend George. A kind man, always careful to drink enough water throughout the day. But in the evenings, especially while watching his favorite programs on television, he'd often have a large glass, sometimes even a whole liter, right beside him. Good for the kidneys, he'd always say with a little nod. He'd finish it off, settle into his comfy chair, and then head to bed, thinking he was doing himself a favor. But then, around the same time every night, usually around 2 or 3 in the morning, poor George would have to get up. And then again, not long after. Sometimes 3 or 4 trips to the bathroom, each one pulling him out of a restful sleep and making him feel more tired and unsteady. And you know, those nighttime trips can be a bit risky for us as we get older. One night, after his 3rd trip to the bathroom, George stood up a little too quickly. His legs felt a bit weak from the broken sleep, and he got a dizzy spell. Before he could steady himself, he lost his balance and had a bit of a fall in the hallway. Thankfully, nothing too serious happened that time, but it gave him and his dear wife a real fright. You see, my dears, as we age, our bladders aren't quite as strong as they used to be. When we drink a lot of liquid too close to bedtime, it fills up quickly, and our bodies have to wake us up to empty it. And getting up several times in the night not only disrupts our sleep, but it can also make us feel unsteady and increase the risk of falls, especially in the dark. So, what's a gentle way to help ourselves here? Try to be mindful of how much you're drinking in the few hours before you go to bed. It's important to stay hydrated during the day, of course, but perhaps try to taper off those extra drinks in the evening. If you need a little sip, that's perfectly fine, but maybe avoid those big glasses right before you lie down. This might help you sleep through the night with fewer interruptions and feel more steady on your feet if you do need to get up. Maybe a small cup of herbal tea in the evening would be a gentler choice than a big glass of water. George made a little change, you know. He still drinks his water during the day, but he stopped having that big glass right before bed. And he noticed he was sleeping much better and wasn't having to make those frequent trips to the bathroom. He felt more rested in the mornings too. Sometimes, little adjustments can make a big difference. Habit number 3, keeping our bedrooms too warm at night. Now let's talk about my dear Clara, a lovely woman, 78 years young, and she always liked her bedroom to be nice and toasty warm. Every night, she'd turn up the heat and pile on the blankets, making it as snug as could be. It felt comforting to her as she drifted off to sleep. But as time went on, she started having some trouble. Clara started waking up in the middle of the night feeling all hot and bothered, sometimes even a bit sweaty. She wasn't sleeping as well as she used to, and she often felt quite tired in the mornings, even after a long night in bed. Then, one summer night, her daughter found her feeling unwell, and the doctor said it might have been related to the heat in her room affecting her body. You see, my dears, while a warm bed might feel cozy, our bodies actually sleep better when the room is a bit cooler. As we get older, our bodies aren't always as good at regulating our temperature. When the room is too warm, our hearts have to work harder to try and cool us down, and that extra work for the heart, especially during sleep, might not be so good for us. Some doctors have even suggested that sleeping in a room that's too warm might not be the best thing for our circulation as we age. It's important to let our bodies rest and recover properly during the night. and a cooler temperature can actually help with that. So, what's a gentle way to adjust this? Try keeping your bedroom at a comfortable, cooler temperature. Maybe somewhere in the low 60s Fahrenheit, around 15 to 18 degrees Celsius, might be a good aim. You could try opening a window a little if it's not too cold outside, or perhaps using a fan to gently circulate the air. A cooler room can help our bodies relax more easily and allow for a more restful night's sleep. Clara tried sleeping with her window slightly open, even in the cooler months, and she noticed a difference. She slept more soundly and didn't wake up feeling so overheated. It's a small change, but it might just help us feel a bit better. Habit number 4, finding comfort in the wrong sleeping position. Finally, let's talk about my dear friend Tom. Tom, a good man in his early 70s, had always been a back sleeper. He'd lie flat on his back, arms sometimes stretched out, and he'd snore quite loudly. His poor wife would often nudge him, but it didn't always help. And sometimes, she'd even notice that his breathing seemed to pause for a moment or two during the night, which worried her. But Tom himself didn't realize there might be a problem. Then, one morning, Tom woke up feeling terribly tired, with a headache and feeling quite breathless. His wife mentioned that his snoring seemed different lately, with those pauses being more frequent. They went to see the doctor, who explained that sleeping flat on his back might be contributing to some breathing issues during the night. You see, my dears, when we lie flat on our backs, gravity can sometimes cause our tongue and the soft tissues in our throat to relax and fall back, which can narrow or even temporarily block our airway. This can lead to something called sleep apnea, where our breathing stops and starts during the night, and it can put a strain on our bodies over time. For us seniors, as our muscles might not be as strong as they once were, sleeping on our backs can sometimes make these breathing issues more likely. And not getting enough good, consistent oxygen during the night isn't good for our hearts or our brains. So, what's a gentle way to help ourselves here? Trying to sleep on our side might be a good idea. Many doctors suggest that the left side is often the best position for keeping our airways open. You could try using a pillow tucked behind your back to help you stay on your side, or even a long butt pillow to make it more comfortable. Tom tried sleeping on his side, and his wife said his snoring improved quite a bit. He also started feeling more rested during the day. It might take a little getting used to if you've always slept on your back, but it could really make a difference in how well you sleep and how your body feels. So, my dears, we've heard the stories of John, Margaret, George, Clara, and Tom. Ordinary folks, just like us, who faced some unexpected challenges because of their nighttime routines. Eating heavy meals late, drinking too much before bed, sleeping in a room that's too warm, and finding comfort in the wrong sleeping position. These are all things to be mindful of as we enjoy our golden years. But the good news is, there are gentle ways to make adjustments. Let's try to have our suppers a bit earlier. Be thoughtful about our evening drinks. Keep our bedrooms comfortably cool, and find a good position for a restful night's sleep. It's never too late to make small changes that can help us feel better and safer. Now, tell me in the comments below, did any of these habits surprise you? Perhaps you've noticed some of these things in your own life or in the lives of those you care about. And if you found this helpful, please do share it with someone who might benefit from this gentle advice. And of course, if you'd like more little tips and stories from Dear Grandma, please do subscribe. We're all in this together, my dears. Wishing you all a peaceful and healthy night's sleep.